And we have with us now on the phone Dr. Mutiu Agote, who is joining us live from Ibadan. He's a rec from Oyo State. It's so good to have you join us at this time, sir.
Good evening, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. We thank you so much for taking time out to be with us on Firecrackers at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, so, sir, could you please paint us a picture of what went down, what transpired during the APC Guba primaries?
There's nothing that happened that INEC attended the primary of the parties, not just the APC. We attended that of the PDP, the APC. I just came back from APGA now. So our job is just to monitor or to observe what happens there. So there was no big deal. We are taking note of what transpired, and we are going to write our report and forward it to Abuja.
Okay, all right, sir. It is also to our understanding that some chaos broke out during the assemblies, during the Oyo Assembly's primaries for the election.
In some places, there are reports, but I'm still waiting for the full report from my field officers, the electoral officers. They are the one to put it together for me to be properly informed. But there are reports here and there that there were fracas, there were disruptions here and there. But I'm waiting for full report from my staff.
Okay, sir. So we know that the election is not going to take place without the voters, and for one to be able to vote, one needs to have one's PVC. So if you would rate the PVC pickup in Oyo State, how would you rate it?
No, we are not doing well. We are not doing well. As I speak to you, we have over 700,000 PVCs all collected.
700,000?
Yes, so it's not, we are not satisfied yet. We are hoping that with the tempo of advocacy we are doing, more people will come out to collect their vote.
All right, sir. But what do you feel might be responsible for this low turnout of PVC retrieval?
I don't know. The important thing is that people cannot say they are not aware of what we are doing. But the important thing is that all major stakeholders to come together and step up the campaign, the awareness campaign, for people to be able to collect the card.
Okay, all right. So for a lot of Nigerians feel like INEC is playing a part in this election. Of course, INEC is playing a part in the election, but some people feel like it is not up to INEC to set up deadline for party primaries. Some people
that is not correct. That is not correct. If you look at the relevant section of the Constitution, the third schedule of the Constitution, section 15 is so clear. INEC has a mandate to organize, to conduct and regulate the activities of political parties. We have to conduct elections, we have to organize elections, we have to regulate the activities of political parties. It is not just about the Congress or the primary. It is about the entire activity of political parties. And we are the major managers of the process. So it is a constitutional mandate given to us. There's no controversy about that.
Okay, all right, sir. Because it seems like some lawyers are even arguing about it that it should have been left to the party, to be able to prepare.
Those lawyers should read the Constitution very well. Any lawyer that wants to argue must argue from the point of view of knowledge. First of all, they should ask, what is the mandate given by law to the Constitution? As I speak to you, just buy a copy of the Constitution, 1,000 naira. Open it. What are the functions of independent National Electoral Commission?
Okay, so I think it's time for us to ask Barrister Wale Ogwande, on this particular development. So, sir, what are your thoughts about it? The debate of INEC should not or should set the date of election, of primary elections for political parties?
It is the duty of INEC to conduct elections, and it's their duty to ensure that the elections are conducted according to law. INEC works under two strict laws. They work under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which created them by virtue of Section 221 and Section 222 of the Constitution, that is 1979 Constitution. Therein, it now transferred their powers, which is reflected in the text in the fifth schedule, particularly paragraph 15, as the REC has said. And indeed, the most important thing is that it has the power to regulate. So if it has the power to regulate, that's what the law has given them. Is akin to a woman that has been given money to go to the market to make money. A competent jurisdiction, capacity, ability, and enablement to ensure that there is the right food on the table. And doing that, she goes to the market and purchases all those items that are needed for the food to be on the table. It's not for the husband now to begin to question, why is it that he didn't buy amala? Why is it that he didn't buy tuwo? Why is it that he didn't buy this and that? Leave her, let her do her work. The same thing, INEC has been given that power. It is when it now goes ultra vires, as we say, that you now question, why are you doing that? To me, INEC has the power to set the time, and they have done it. And when they did that last year, February last year, and people started talking, I was one of those who said, no, it is within their competence to do it, and they have done it. The timeline is to make people to be ready, to put their house in order. But we find out that the typical Nigerians, they are always waiting for the last minute. The only thing I'll quarrel with INEC is that why did they shift under pressure, shift the timeline by another 6 days or so? They shouldn't have. They have done it before by penalizing the APC in Zamfara, and even, I guess, in Rivers State. They should stand their feet. By shifting the goalposts, it means that they can be manipulated. And for your information, they have given room to the other parties and those who want to cause confusion to now go to court to say that, no, having shifted, you have now given them a disadvantage because they have planned that it is within these days. To me, INEC should not shift. And shifting, they have given room for people now to criticize them and to find a way to putting wheels in the crowd of their business. What I want INEC to do is to stick strictly, because what the duty given to them is called statutory, as you say in law, is a statutory responsibility which should not be shifted or should not be shirked or shied away from. They should carry out their duty without fear or favor. That is just the word. Carrying out their duty without fear or favor. Shifting may be elements of favor. They have given them notice that between this time and this time, you must have conducted your primary elections. Even if they want to have secondary elections, even if they want, they can have a university election. That's their cup of tea. The timeline has been given to them. They must fall within that timeline and do it and submit their list to INEC, because INEC too needs time to work on, so as to print, so as to prepare, so as to look at the constituency and all such issues that are germane to them too. And before I forget, I want INEC to really put its fist down in the issue of monitoring political party primaries. The other day, some people shifted their primary from one point to the other. I guess you have passed that stage in Nigeria where a party in Anambra will cross over, that's in Onitsha, will cross over the Niger to Asaba in Delta, saying that they are having a primaries. That's for Anambra in Delta State. We have passed that stage. And INEC must put its feet down. Any party who does that, any candidate or ward or unit or constituency that does that, they should cancel that party's primary or whatever convention and just cancel it totally and award that result to the other party who fulfilled the necessary condition. There should not be any sacred cow. It is when you bend the rule for a particular set of people that you now fall into the trap of the other parties who want you to fail, so as to give room for them to now manipulate you. Please, I hope the REC is hearing, or maybe they are even hearing at the national headquarters.
Organizations. whenever INEC comes up with any policy, any of these stakeholders will come around to give us advice or suggestions, as it were. Now, political parties, as one of the major stakeholders, they have umbrella body that coordinate their activities, and that body is what we call Inter-Party Advisory Council. Immediately we released this timetable, it was in the public domain. Later, this body came to INEC and said, please shift this so item for us. But because we are so religious about the execution of this, the content of the timetable, we said no, we are not going to shift. Second time they came, third time they came, until the last Friday, we just said, okay, let us look at it. If what they needed was few days to do whatever they think they wanted to do, let us look at those 3 days on our timetable that affected nothing in our activities. Go and look at the timetable we released before now. You will see that between the 3rd of June and the 9th of June, there is no activity there for the commission. And that was why we said, okay, let us shift it and allow them. So we have not lost anything. Commission has not lost anything. And if anybody is criticizing us to say that, why did we do that? Why can't we do that? We are the ones to determine whether we are affected or we are not affected. So it will be foolhardy of anybody to read any meaning in whatever INEC is doing. And at any rate, opinion is a free word to be expressed. But INEC is the one that knows what to organize, how to organize, and when to organize. However, let me tell you, assuming, without considering that those dates that we shifted, there was something there. In other words, let us assume that there were particular activities in those days. I know as a fact that the commission will not have allowed that to happen, because if we should shift one activity, it will affect all other activities. That is the nature of management of elections. So that we shifted, it means nothing. It has not done no harm to INEC. And for us, we are still on course. Those who are arguing that some political parties have concluded their primary, it's not correct. It's not correct. As I speak to you, I just came back from the Africa gubernatorial primary in Oyo State now. Tomorrow, I have that of the SDP and other 2 political parties. This primary continues until the 1st to 2nd of June. A lot of political parties are doing their primary every day. So it's not about any party has concluded. No party has concluded anything. It's still a process ongoing. And with that we should understand. So it is a misconception to read other meaning to the reason why we allow the IPAC to have more days for this activity.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir. And then to quickly round this up, what should we be expecting from the 2023 election? I know that
we should.
INEC is already preparing. INEC
Yes.
has done a lot of innovation.
Thank you. What you should expect is what you are going to see in Ekiti election. In Ekiti election, you are going to see a level playing field. You are going to see the optimal performance of our by accreditation voter system, BVAS. Our BVAS is going to work very well. We are going to track it. We have trained our staff. They know about it. And once your PVC is not allowed by the BVAS, you are not going to vote on election day. You are going to see early deployment of our materials, barring any eventuality, unforeseen situation or event. So these are the things you are going to see. Whatever you see in Ekiti, you are going to see it in Osun. And put all these together, Osun and Ekiti. These are what you are going to see in 2023. Our people should be reassured that their vote will count in 2023 general elections.
All right, we thank you so much for taking time to be with us on the show, Dr.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
And
Thank
wishing
you.
INEC the very best of luck on 2023.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, and well, I would also like to hear from Barrister Wale Ogwande very quickly. What are you expecting from 2023?
This is what INEC has said. I just hope that they will talk, they will walk the talk. I have observed elections several times, and after an election, we do write reports. No doubt some of the reports were written, they worked on them, and there are some that they have abandoned. I'm happy that he said that they're going to deploy materials on time. And of course, he didn't talk about the welfare of their ground staff workers, because that's the pain every time there's an election. You conduct elections, those who work the election, who will make the election work, you cramp them up in an insecure place, you give them mats to sleep as if they are refugees. Whereas the officers, the commission, they lodge them in 5-star hotels, they take them around in chauffeur-driven, air-conditioned cars. Whereas there are buses that can be rented, which are air-conditioned too. You don't make them feel comfortable in terms of welfare. In fact, sometimes their allowances are not paid to them after their duty work, they have done their work. So I hope that this time around, just beating for us towards Ekiti and Osun, we hope that indeed they will have taken all these things into consideration, and of course, use those that they have trained particularly, not just add some people who just crash after some people have been trained. These are issues that have risen, and I have hoped that if it's not there, they should address those things. I can assure INEC and all its officers that they can't be more patriotic than some of us. Our inputs in this process are born out of partisanship. We are not paid to do these things. You are paid from the public coffers, and you have a right to listen to the wishes of the people. Looking at it that you are criticized, why won't we criticize you? You are civil servants, for God's sake. And you are criticized so that you do the work very well. We are talking from a vintage position of knowing what is wrong and telling you this is what is wrong, doing it. But my problem with the Nigerian civil servants and even public officers is that they see that whenever people like us talk, we are talking just to criticize for the fun of it. I am not an office seeker. I am a passionate Nigerian who wants Nigeria to be good.
So much for taking time to be with us on the program today. That's Barrister Wale Ogwande. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. To God be the glory.
And this is where we will be drawing the curtain close onto this episode of Firecrackers. And I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two from the hour-long discussion. My name is Iribami Salako, and have a beautiful week ahead.